Next on our agenda is Cliff Horn. Cliff does our benefits for us. Primarily, I guess the thing that we look at or look for is our health insurance, and each year, of course, as things change, we have to make a few changes and all. But all in all, I believe we put together a pretty good health plan for the coming year. He's going to explain any changes that had to be made or so forth. So, Cliff, we appreciate you being here, and we'll let you tell us all about the good benefits we have.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Gary.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
Good morning.
I need to turn this on.
That'd be great. Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? I told Jeff as he was leaving the podium, I said, Jeff, you get all the fun. You get to talk about money, and I talk about insurance. And he says, I made that decision a long time ago, and which is a great response, of course. There's a great quote from Benjamin Franklin that said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Obviously, Jeff just spent a lot of time talking about interest returns and how to invest wisely, and how to be a good steward of your resources, and obviously the investment in your 403B and how that return grants you a good standard of living later in life, of course. We've been very blessed in our country. Am I too close to that? Okay. We've been very blessed in our country, obviously, that we have an amazing standard of living, very fortunate, and obviously the investments that you have, the more you understand and can use those resources that you have, the better off you're going to be, of course. So it's very important for you to understand and have the knowledge to use your investments wisely, but also have the knowledge to use the benefit package that Aethra provides for you and to use it wisely. So you get the most bang for your buck, if you will. So you do have a very comprehensive benefits package. So today, primarily, I'm going to review most of the changes, which there's not many changes that Aethra's made to your package, you'll be glad to know. But there are some, and there's also some changes within our country, which we'll review that briefly, and then also some changes within Blue Cross Blue Shield that they've made as well. So with that, off we go. Just a reminder, if you're working 30 hours or more per week on average, you're considered a full-time employee, therefore eligible for the medical insurance package that's available to you through Blue Cross Blue Shield via Aethra. But to be eligible for the other benefits, you must average 37 and a half hours on a weekly basis to become eligible, of course. Now, once you enroll in benefits, Uncle Sam says, if you're going to pre-tax something, you're locked into that particular benefit for the year, and you cannot make changes. That's not a requirement of Aethra. That is a requirement of the IRS. So once you enroll in one of the benefit plans, you are enrolled for the year, unless there's some type of qualified event, of course, which we know what these events are. These are life-changing events. If you have a baby, that's a big life-changing event. If you get married, that is definitely a life changer, of course. Right, JJ? Have a change in status, death of a spouse. Obviously, that's a great loss, so that's a change in event. So any of these events, guys, please notify HR immediately in the event you wish to make any changes to your benefit plans, of course. So for 2019, let's talk about some changes. One of the biggest changes within our country is this. The individual mandate that required Americans to purchase health insurance plans is now gone away in 2019. Now, if you did not enroll for 2018, do not have qualified coverage for 2018, you will still pay a penalty on your taxes. But in 2019, that penalty goes away. Now, within Blue Cross Blue Shield, there have been some changes within Blues. So we're going to touch on these and unpack what that looks like. First of all, acupuncture is now covered as a benefit. Different type of treatment. I'm not sure if anyone has ever used acupuncture in here except myself, which was effective. Didn't get a permanent fix, but it was effective to get some temporary relief. But it's now included. So be sure and use, if you wish to have this apply towards your deductible and your out-of-pocket, be sure to use in-network providers and notice what the annual limits would be within that service. Second, emergency air ambulance. The last bill I saw for emergency air ambulance? Anybody want to guess? Man, you guys are good. 52 grand is the last bill I saw for emergency air ambulance, okay? That's a pretty expensive ride. Uber's a lot less expensive than that. If Uber can get you there maybe just as quick. Previously, Blue Cross paid those at billed charges. So whatever the air ambulance billed, that's how they paid. So what they've done, they've gone out and contracted in-network provider benefits with vendors. So you'll be glad to know UT is now part of that contract. So if you're using air ambulance because of an emergency, it's now in-network, of course, and you will not be balance billed. So therefore, you have that protection. Same for Erlanger. Erlanger over in Chattanooga is also in-network as well, okay? Those are our local ones. If it's a non-emergency air ambulance, then it will apply based upon the network status, okay? So if they're out of network, then you just understand you could get balance billed, and it's a very expensive helicopter ride, okay? Last here is regard to genetic testing will now require pre-authorization. In the past, genetic testing there's not been required any kind of pre-authorization for services. There's a lot of this going on just because of people want to know, do I have a propensity because of my genetics to develop cancer or breast cancer? And so if you're using an in-network provider, you will be held harmless. In other words, not balance billed. Now, within Aether's plan, because we basically have 4 different plans that you can select from. 2 plans look identical, with the exception of the list of providers that you would use. But all the plans will include preventive services paid at 100%. All the plans will have an unlimited lifetime maximum benefit. All the plans will include now health reimbursement arrangement. All the plans will have pharmacy coverage. All the plans have the same exclusions and limitations, okay? So that's all the same within the 4 benefit plans that's available for the major medical. The difference in the plans, guys, number 1 is what you're going to pay for it. How much is taken out of your check? It's very important to understand that. How the pharmacy benefits will be covered. Because 2 of the plans have pharmacy at a copay. 2 of the plans have a pharmacy that are subject to a deductible. And then the amount of the HRA is going to be different within 2 of the plans. So it's very important to understand how these plans work. So knowledge will give you the power to make good decisions. This is huge. How many of you knew that Blue Cross Blue Shield now includes UT Hospital and UT Contracted Physicians as part of Network S? Okay? So Jeff did. That's good. Awesome. We have probably about 25% of all members within Aether that participate in Network P. So if you are currently in P, if you're not sure, look at your ID card. It tells you on the front, bottom left, if you are participating in Network P or Network S. We've run a lot of what we call disruption reports from Blue Cross to tell us the physicians that are in P versus S. And I've only seen 1 physician that it was considered out of network within all our groups. And that was a general vascular surgeon in Oak Ridge. So if you'll do the research, guys, you may discover if you're currently in P, you can move to Network S and save a significant amount of money, of course, for yourself and or your dependents by making that change. Okay? But just do the research. Go online is the best way to do this because that gives you up-to-date information about your providers, of course. But that is huge. Now, these are the only changes that Aether is making to the plans. So you'll notice plans 1 and 2, prescription drugs, the copays will now be $10, $50, and $95. And let me explain why we've made that change. Did you know that 51% of all the paid claims within Blue Cross Blue Shield last year were for prescriptions within Aether's plan? Not hospitalization, not air ambulance, not therapy services, not surgery, not chemo, prescription drugs. A little over 51% of all paid claims during the study period, looking at, so that's a 12-month period, were for prescription drugs. So that's a big part of our cost, okay? So the better consumer we can be, the more we can become knowledgeable about prescriptions and what the cost is, and maybe some less expensive alternatives, the better consumer you can be and hopefully control cost. That's huge. Second change, guys, is the co-insurance. So after you reach your deductible, Blue Cross Blue Shield pays a percentage of your claim, you pay a percentage of your claim. We've changed that to 50%, but it has very little impact upon you. Because your deductible is a little high, as you know, but Aetna pays the majority of that deductible until you reach the exhausting HRA benefit that's available to you, of course. So any questions about that change, guys? Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Right.
They don't care. So it would be great. I mean, it may not even be possible, but, and I don't know if anybody knows this way, but it would be great if we could have something to show them or give them so they would argue.
I think we can provide some, more or less a memo. Yes.
Several people have had this problem, and unfortunately, hospitals are jerks when it comes to their money. They want the money, but all the costs, and that's another issue, is getting them to actually dial something instead of online. Blue Cross will confirm over the phone that there
That's
is
correct.
an HRA attached and it will pay. If you can get a hold of the agent's office,
Right. Understood. Because they don't notify you until you get there. That's the problem, of course. But JJ is exactly correct. If they would pick up the phone, call Blue Cross, they'll tell the member, the hospital, how much of your deductible you've met and how much the HRA value is. So they know they're guaranteed if you can get a hold of them. Now, we'll be glad to provide a written statement of what that value is and how that works. Now, if they'll accept that, I have no idea. You have a good point.
but they did, but it was just, I was very lucky that she was in her office working that day, telephone her. But it was great to have something to help explain it.
Okay.
Because I can't explain it adequately to make them understand.
Got it. What the hospital needs to understand, guys, and this again is knowledge. Knowledge provides power. So the more understanding you have, the greater understanding you have about how your plan works, then the better you can communicate to those people at the hospital. The turnover is great within the physicians and hospital systems. So I guarantee you're going to know more about your plan than they will, of course. And on your ID card, it will say HRA, but it does not provide the amount of the HRA, of course. Okay? But we'll be glad to provide something to you like that to provide to yes.
What I've run into is most billing people in the medical field do what an HRA is.
Mm-hmm.
So even when you try to explain it to them, they look at you like a deer head.
Yes.
And I've had a couple of people tell me I was lying. So yeah, a written statement would really help.
Okay. We can do that very easily then. Yes, ma'am.
What was the co-insurance this year, percentage?
70%.
So that's, that made my deductible like 2 years in a row.
Congratulations, by the way.
What was the
It hurts.
So between 12,000 and 14,300, if I'm doing plan 1 or 2, that's for the co-insurance, correct?
after $6,000, that's where the co-insurance comes into play. And let me address that in the summary here in a few moments, because I'll get into detail about that, okay? Rather than confuse anyone. Okay. Plans 3 and 4, guys. It's 70% currently, the co-insurance. But I do not want you to get hung up on the co-insurance because I will delve into that in just a moment. Okay? So co-insurance means very little on your plan, by the way. Plans 3 and 4, you notice the premiums, guys, have been reduced. So this gets my attention. When I see the premiums on one plan come down, I'm saying, how much money can I save from plan 1 to plan 2? So we're going to unpack what that looks like, of course. You'll notice the co-insurance on this plan has changed as well. And we've added the HRA to plan 3 and 4 as well. It's not as significant as attached to plan 1, but the HRA is now available on, or part of the plan for 3 and 4. Okay, this is what the plan looks like. And now this may look like a very busy slide, but it's very simple. Plans, or option 1 and 2, are the exact same plans. The only difference is the network providers, Network P and Network S. And now with UT and UT contracted physicians, there's very little difference. Almost none. Okay, especially here in East Tennessee. Preventive services, as you know, will be paid at 100%. The HRA arrangement starts from $1. So if I incur a claim and it's $10, it's subject to my deductible, Ethra pays $7 of that claim, I pay $3. If it's $1,000, how much does Ethra pay? $700, and I pay $300. Okay, and it's paid to the provider directly, so the hospital would receive their money, of course. So that's the way that plan works there. Your calendar year deductible, guys, is a 12-month period, January through the end of the year. Once you reach your calendar year deductible, then the co-insurance starts. The plan this year is going to be 50%. So you'll pay 50% until you pay out of your pocket, basically a total of $7,150 minus what Ethra's paid of the $3,000, which basically means you've got $4,150 at risk out of your pocket to pay for medical claims. If your claim's $1 million, how much do you pay? $4,150 of covered services. Okay? So the co-insurance only goes for a very short period of time. Okay? Only thing the co-insurance does is means you're going to get to your out-of-pocket just a little bit faster than you did last year. But your out-of-pocket did not change. And when I'm buying insurance, that is one of the most important things that I'm looking at. What's my exposure? What's my responsibility? So the more responsibility I have, the more I know I need to set back money to pay for that. Okay? So if you're trying to set back some assets because you know you're going to meet your out-of-pocket, $4,150 is your exposure this upcoming year for plans 1 and 2. Prescription drugs, I've already discussed. Those are $10, $50, $95 this upcoming year. Okay? That's plan 1 and 2. Plans 3 and 4 this year. You'll notice the deductible stayed the same, but we've added the HRA. So the HRA is going to pay the same as on plans 1 and 2, except the cap is $500 on plans 1 and 2. So, excuse me? Yes, ma'am.
On the prescription,
Yes.
it says preferred brand, is that not a generic?
That's correct.
Okay, so
Generics will always be the lowest copay.
if there is no generics out there, then $50 is all I have to pay?
If it's on the preferred list, that's correct. Now, if it's on the non-preferred list, it will be $95, and then Blue Cross picks up the rest.
Well, they kind of split the difference. It was $85.
It could have been a non-preferred drug. It's just a lower amount, okay, than what the $95 was. That could be one of the explanations. Without knowing the drug, doing the research, I couldn't tell you, okay? But if it's a non-preferred drug, it's $95. If it's a preferred drug, and on that list, it's $50 copay. Now that $50, $95, $10, that all applies towards your out-of-pocket. So your deductible, your copays, your coinsurance all apply towards your out-of-pocket. And the max out-of-pocket is $41.50 on that plan. On Plan 2, you'll notice, guys, the HRA is going to pay the 70%, just like on Plan 1, but the cap is lower. Prescription drugs is the big difference between Plans 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So here's what that looks like. If I go to the pharmacy and I'm on Plans 3 or 4, that means I pay for that drug. So if it costs $100, I pay the $100. And then the HRA is going to send me a reimbursement check of 70%. So they'll send me a check for $70 after about 2 weeks. Okay? So that's how that plan works. That's the main difference between 3 and 4 is with regard to the pharmacy benefit. Okay? So here's an example for Plans 1 and 2. This is a medical claim. The medical claim is $3,000. The HRA pays $2,100. I pay $900. And then I have the full $3,000 that's accredited towards my out-of-pocket for the calendar year. Pharmacy claim. Those copays, $50.95, account towards my out-of-pocket. So I'm going to get to my out-of-pocket a little bit faster. Obviously, the more I spend. Plans 3 and 4. The claim's $3,000 for a medical claim. The HRA is going to pay $500. I pay the $2,500, but the full $3 is counted towards my out-of-pocket. Pharmacy. If the prescription drug is $250, I have to pay the drug. Pay for the drug on site at the pharmacy. It's a cash and carry. If I don't pay for it, they're going to arrest me. Okay, if I walk out the door with it. Okay, so it is a cash and carry. After about 2 weeks, I'm going to get a check in the mail from. It's going to pay $84. That math is wrong. I just noticed this. I think it should be $175. $175 reimbursement check. Okay, in about 2 weeks. That's paid out of the HRA for me. Now, look at the premiums here, guys. Plans 1 and 2 did not change. You'll be delighted to know. So there is no increase in costs for you to participate in the plans. Okay? We're asking you to contribute a little bit more for pharmacy in the event you're utilizing that particular benefit. Okay? But there is no premium additional premium you're required to pay. Plans 3 and 4 have reduced significantly in cost. So we're going to walk through the math and what that looks like in just a moment. So here's the value to you for what the Blue Cross Blue Shield plan is. The premium itself that Aether pays, if I'm an employee and do not have dependents enrolled, it's $4,020 in premium that Aether pays or contributes for you, plus the HRA of $3,000. It's a $7,000 value to you that you really don't see on your paycheck. That's part of your benefits package. So whatever your income is, if you make $25,000 a year, add another $7,000 to it just in medical benefits alone. Okay? That's a huge benefit, of course. If your family, it's $15,600. That's a lot of money. Now, how can you impact cost? Number one, use telemedicine. Just a good reminder of teledoc because there's no expense to you whatsoever for that. Utilize the preventive services. Get your colonoscopies done. Get your checkups done. Get your eye exams. Get your dental cleanings. All those things are zero cost to you. Okay? Quit smoking. Focus on nutrition. Good hygiene. Wash your hands, especially this time of year. Obviously getting flu shots here. Get your flu shot. Lose weight. I'm going to get a little personal, I guess. So we need to be conscious of our weight because obviously diabetic conditions here in the U.S. are driving cost for medical plans. Now, this is why I say you should consider, at least this year, plans 3 and 4. When I'm doing the math on this, I realize I'm going to save $95 every month if I enroll in plans 3. Okay? Versus plan 1. Over a course of 12 months, That's $1,140 in savings to me. That $1,140 could be allocated to my flexible spending account. And I know Ether's going to pay how much on plans 3 and 4 for the HRA? $500, right? So now all of a sudden, I've got $1,640 in medical expenses that I can pay for basically at 100% before I'm worse off. So if you look back historically, the last 5 years, and Jeff will tell you, past performance does not dictate future returns. But if you look at the last 5 years, what kind of medical expenses have you incurred? Has it been averaging less than $1,640 for the last 5 years? If so, you may wish to consider one of those plans this upcoming year. Look at the family difference, guys. $5,104. That's huge. That's the total premium savings plus the HRA allocation that's available to you. Okay? All right. Any questions on the medical with the changes within Blue Cross Blue Shield or the changes Ether has made? Okay. Teladoc. Teladoc will continue. Okay? And who in here has used Teladoc before? Let me get a show of hands. Excellent. Who in here would use Teladoc again? Same hands that I see. Okay? If you've not had an opportunity to use this particular service, guys, you're doing yourselves a disservice. Especially if you have any kind of sinusitis, allergies, pink eye, any kind of acute minor illness. This service is amazing. There's no cost to you because this service is provided for you plus any dependents in your household. Okay? Phenomenal. And it costs you how much? Zero. Nada. So if I'm a good consumer of my health care plan, the first thing I'm going to do if I have some kind of acute minor illness, I'm going to pick up the phone and call Teladoc because it's not going to take any money out of my health reimbursement arrangement. It's not going to file a claim against Blue Cross Blue Shield. Okay? And it's not going to cost me a dime. So use this service. It's easy to access. If you've not set up your account, then I would encourage you to do so. Now, with that said, due to some contractual provisions, guys, effective January 1st, we need you to reestablish your account. That means to complete your medical history again. Okay? And update that.
Every time I go online to register, it can't find me.
Can't find you. We will get that fixed then. You can actually do it by phone. It's very easy. So the phone sometimes, if you're not having success logging in and getting enrolled electronically, let's get you enrolled by phone then. So you can pick up the phone and just call Teladoc and they can take your medical history there. Okay? It's a much better way. Yes? Part-time plus, do expand on part-time plus then. Okay. Okay, so part-time plus. Okay. That's who's eligible. So you can register by phone or online. This is the information you want to have with you guys, your medical history, your physician name and pharmacy. Why the pharmacy? In case they need to call in a prescription drug for you, they can notify your pharmacy, okay? So take advantage of that benefit. Dental and vision benefits, guys, do not change this upcoming year. Same plan we've had for several years now, same rates. So there is no change there whatsoever. But again, I encourage you to get your cleanings done. Okay? Doesn't cost you a dime. Your cleanings and the diagnostic services do not come out of your annual maximum. So even if you get your 2 cleanings done, you still have $1,500 per person per calendar year to use for dental services. You'll notice orthodontics is included, but only to age 19. Not beyond age 19, so it's not for adults. Superior vision, there's no cost for the exam. There's unfortunately, a lot of services or diagnosis that the doctor can find through someone's eyes. The most interesting story I heard related to that, guys, was a friend of mine, consider my friend now, who is administrator at a church, having some vision problems, goes to to an orthodontist, an optometrist, not orthodontist, optometrist, and the optometrist says, Chad, either you have a brain tumor or something pressed on your nerve that appears to be a brain tumor. Within 1 month, he's at Vanderbilt having brain surgery to remove a tumor. Okay? So that eye exam could have saved his life. Okay? So get your eye exam done, guys. Flexible spending account. Guys, I touched on the premium savings earlier on plans 3 and 4. If I'm going to do that, what I want to do is set back some of that money that I saved in premium, not spend it, not live on it, but set it aside to pay for medical expenses through the flexible spending account. Because those are pre-tax dollars that Uncle Sam does not take money out of your income for. Okay, so you can use any of those dollars to pay for medical expenses. 100% of whatever you would invest or allocate for the year available to you on day one. So if you set aside $100 a month, as of January 1st, you have up to $1,200 to use for the year for the flexible spending account. So if I know I'm going to have prescriptions, and I know what those copays are each month, I'm going to set aside at least that amount of money. Okay? If I'm going to have a root canal, I'm going to set aside some money to pay for that root canal through the flexible spending account. You can put aside as much as $2,650, of course. Money's never taxed. Okay? And Ether allows up to $500 to be rolled over during at the end of the year if you've not spent that money. You can see a list of eligible expenses here. These are just a small sampling of what is available. So anything covered by Blue Cross Blue Shield, plus a long list of other items, of course. And you'll see some items here that would be considered ineligible as well. Okay. Now, life, disability, and long-term care. I don't spend very much time talking about these, but these are huge benefits for you because Ether provides for life insurance 2 times your annual income in the event of death. Okay? If it's by accident, it's going to pay your family basically 4 times what your annual income would be, and that's non-taxable income. Long-term disability to me is the most important benefit right behind major medical. Because if all of a sudden I can't work because I'm disabled, I still have income coming in. That benefit is huge. That enables you to maintain a standard of living that you're accustomed to, of course, and to keep the lights on, pay the electric bill, etc. And then one benefit that you're the only group that has this benefit anymore, and it's a long-term care benefit. So if you're not able to care for yourselves and you're admitted to a facility, then you receive income as a result of that to pay for that facility. Okay? And these benefits, the long-term care is portable. In other words, you can carry it with you if you retire or leave, but the other 2 benefits would not be. Now, the last thing I'll touch on is this is an open enrollment, which is unusual for voluntary life insurance. Normally, once you first enroll, you're eligible to enroll in the voluntary life insurance. It's 100% portable, so you can carry it with you if you ever leave. But this year, Lincoln is opening up the life insurance. So if you waived life insurance in the past, I don't need it, and now all of a sudden you develop some kind of condition, maybe you've a diabetic condition, and you like to purchase insurance, you can now do so with no questions asked. Okay? If you want to increase your coverage, you can do so, no questions asked. Up to the limits, of course, that you can see there. For the employee, it's up to $150,000. You can increase your spouse up to $30,000, of course, and children up to $10,000. And that is portable if you leave, of course. Coverage remains level as long as you're with Ether, of course, until you turn 70, then it reduces. Then every 5 years, once you hit a different age band, that's when you receive a rate increase. Like right now I'm 54. So next year, when I hit 55 to 59 age band, that's when my rate would increase. Okay? So this is the only way for you to obtain life insurance with no medical questions asked. Okay? That's a huge benefit. Okay. Hopefully those dates are right regarding E3. I think it's November 1st through November 30th. Kathy may correct me on that, but if that's the correct date. Okay. So awesome. So you guys can enroll in any of the benefits that we just reviewed during that period of time, of course. All right. Any questions?
Yes. I was looking at the printout between plans 1 and 2 versus plans 3 and 4. It says that plans 3 and 4 are high deductible, but it looks like on the printout it's the same deductible for all.
It is. It's just defined by the IRS as a high deductible health plan. But the deductibles are the same under all 4 plans. But the HRA is different. And how the pharmacy is handled is different.
So I'm looking here because the out-of-pocket appears to be $300 less.
That's correct. That is exactly right. You're just going to get there a little sooner. Okay? Yes, sir.
Do you happen to know if Vanderbilt is network has?
Yes, it is. Participates in all networks. Okay. Guys, thank you so much. It is a privilege to work with your organization. Appreciate what you guys do for our community, and I mean that sincerely. You're serving a lot of people that need to be served and do not the same opportunity, maybe as you and I have had. My brother always says, everybody in the United States has opportunity. Not everybody has the same opportunity. And that's so true. So we need to keep that in mind. So thank you guys for what you're doing.